you guys. He's coming to you. Hi. Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back.
Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I am having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm really trying to help you guys. I need you guys to help me too. Like,
yes,
we'll
ma'am.
do this as a team, but just don't.
So
fucking let me down,
the
please.
reason why we can't, like, I did think about this yesterday, that I would like to sit down with you once we have your text messages and the phone calls, and we can put them in a some type of easily looking, that we can sit down and look at them and compare them, and we can kind of get the context of how everything was going that night. I would like to do that with you. Unfortunately, so the download that we got yesterday is going to take multiple days to be analyzed. I probably won't have it back till next week. And then because you guys did have so many text messages, one of my analysts is working on getting those in order, so we can put something together where we can actually sit down and discuss it. But I do think that's something that I want to do in the near future, sometime probably next week.
I mean, I can do that. I don't mind giving you guys my time. I just need you guys to, like, help me with my employer and try to just help me brace for this media thing.
I'm with you. We definitely need to accelerate the case, because the more it takes, the less sure that they are of situations.
He murdered her. She's out of the picture. You're never going to know if she was pregnant. If he can get away with murder, you're not going to. I got divorced from my wife. You say, do you understand what I'm saying here? If she's gone,
But this...
Don't lead.
Hypothetically.
Please.
Yeah.
Don't
Hypothetically.
lead on.
If she,
Okay.
You understand where I'm going. If
Right,
you
but
didn't know.
You're leading into questions that are nothing with your.
If you didn't know, though.
Wait, Nick.
That she was there.
Did you hear what I said?
I'm following you.
Stop asking about it. She didn't have anything to do with it. She wasn't there that morning. She voluntarily cooperated with law enforcement. She provided us all the information. I'm not going to tell you where she's at. Stop. Leave me alone.
Okay, hey guys, welcome back to Watts the Obsession live stream. All right, don't do this to me, baby. Okay, from Friday and then Saturday, but I'm so happy you guys are here. So tonight we are going to talk about, we're going to talk about actually a number of things. We are going to talk about exactly what the title says. Nichol Kessinger did do some phone interviews while this case was being investigated for the very short time that it was, but we're not talking about the phone interviews. We're going to be talking about Nichol Kessinger's FBI interview, which happened on August 15th, 2018, 2 days after the murders of Chris Watts' family, Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and unborn baby Nico, as compared to an interview just the next day on the 16th, and then a little bit also with her interview on the 23rd of August. Those second two interviews were with CBI. So when you compare what she said on each of those days, it becomes very easy to see how Nichol Kessinger changed her story based on what it was she knew, investigators knew at the time. So, we all know, well, maybe you don't. If you don't, welcome. If you're new to the case, welcome. We'll get you all caught up. It's a big case, so it can take a little while, but we'll get you there. We know that, the day after Chris Watts' family went missing, before it was discovered that it was a true tragedy and he had taken their lives, possibly with the help of somebody else. We don't know that, and we hope someday to find the answer. We know that Nichol Kessinger searched the internet asking if police can find deleted messages. What's the difference between text message detail and text message content? And a number of other things. It showed us that Nichol Kessinger was very wary of investigators looking at her phone and finding the text messages, most likely the ones between herself and Chris Watts. And whatever other way she communicated with him, we are not sure. It is certainly suspected that they use a third-party app for communication. And actually, I want to introduce you to something really quick before we get into the content of today. Deception Detective, in one of his videos of the Nichol Kessinger interviews, does a really good job breaking down what she says. He's an attorney who is trained in statement analysis. We love his channel. He's a friend of this channel. He does great work on a number of cases, including most recently this one. And he talks about how we can tell based on what Nichol Kessinger said that it is extremely likely that, yes, in fact, they did indeed use third-party apps to communicate. And that would open up a whole area of communication between Nichol Kessinger and Chris Watts that we know was completely not investigated. In fact, really nothing having to do with her was investigated. Now, before we get to the content today, I want to let you know that the Deception Detective just the other day did a video analyzing, dun, 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 no, not that one, not that one either, hold it, Chris Watts, I'm so excited about this, February of 2019, that was 3 months after he's incarcerated, his interview with the 3 investigators from the CBI, FBI, and the Frederick Police Department. He just started to analyze this interview, which is amazing because he does such a good job. I think he is like almost always accurate, and we gain such great insight into hearing what he has to say about these interviews, these statements, with him using his method of statement analysis to break things down and to find the truth. So he finally just uploaded his interview with Chris Watts. He used that interview that I just uploaded. If you guys haven't seen that yet, I cleaned up the audio like big time, as some of you I know have seen, and thank you for the nice compliments in your comments. And I also put timestamps in the discovery and throughout the video because it's 4 hours and 41 minutes, guys. It's massive. So you can find what it is that you want to hear. So here's just a little bit from the Deception Detective. Please go check out his video. He said if he gets to 50,000 views, really smart for him to do that, he will do more of it. Right now, I just looked, he's at 24,000. So definitely go check him out.
Start at the part of this interview where Chris is talking about Nichol, because I've already analyzed Nichol. Now I want to analyze Chris, and we can determine if he is a manipulator and psychopath himself, or if he was the victim of Nichol Kessinger, who manipulated him to kill his family to be with her and then take the fall for her, as some people speculate in my comments. So Watts Obsession has conveniently put timestamps here, and we're going to jump to timestamp 1510, where she's labeled Mistress Nichol Kessinger, when, how we met. We're going to listen from there.
No, there may have been others. So Nichol was the only one? No, I was the only one. Was there ever like a one-night stand with someone else just out of the blue and one and done? No. Okay. All right. Want to talk a little bit more about Nichol? All right. And so walk me through it, because that was one of the things we never really got to ask you about.
Right. We didn't talk.
Kind of talked about where the girls were, but so what happened there?
So it was probably around June 1st or something. That's when I first met her. And it was just like a work conversation. She messed with the gas meters that, we're out in the field. And I'm out messing up. And then, I took it to her like, hey, what's going on with this? Like, how do I fix it? After that, we just ran into each other a few times in the office. And I think it was probably the 4th time meeting. She had asked me, because like when we were talking back and forth, I would say, like we moved here from Colorado or from North Carolina and stuff like that. And then she's like, what's all this weed stuff you come? Like, I took out my phone and showed her a picture. Like, my girl's on the phone. It's like, oh, okay. Like, so, like, yeah, like, I didn't wear a ring at work because like I sent it off so I get refitted after I lost all that weight. So, but
you lost so much weight that your fingers lost weight?
Yeah, it was literally like I was out in the snow one time. I went like that. Ring went off on the rocks.
Ever since I started analyzing Nichol Kessinger 4 months ago, I've seen lots of comments of people suggesting that Chris was either pushed to commit the murders by Nichol manipulating him, or even by Shenan's needling and belittling him. And over in the DD forum, someone actually mentioned a lot of theories about this to me, which I addressed over there in the forum. And my main question was, where do these theories come from? Because as far as I'm concerned, Chris Watts committed these murders alone, and any manipulation or needling of him was done without the expectation that he would go all out and murder his entire.
Okay, so, when the deception detective did analyze the Nichol Kessinger videos, he had a real turn of opinion on, kind of her in general. At first, he was like, oh, he thought she had nothing to do with anything. And then as he listened to the series of, or actually, it was just one of her interviews. It was the one from August 16th in a few different segments. He definitely realized, like many of us know, that she is in fact a master manipulator, and a lot of what she had to say to her interviewers was manipulation. He hasn't made like some conclusion that she is definitely involved or anything, but he is understanding the level of manipulation that she was imposing on Chris Watts. With all that being said, just like he said right there, I just want to say this up front. Chris Watts is absolutely involved in this. He did murder. He is in prison. That's absolutely where he belongs. And anything that comes up in discussion puts that blame on no one else other than Chris Watts. Nobody on this channel officially does not have the opinion that Shanann, by any means, made him do this, pushed him to do this. It was her fault, that she and her children ended up with a horrible fate they did. So I just wanted to say that up front, because no matter how much I say it, no matter how much I try to convince people of, what it is I think and we think, people are always going to come out and make that accusation. DC Primetime, no way. How are you doing, girl? I miss you. I haven't seen you in a while. So I'm so glad you guys are here. So let's start off. I just want to listen to this very short portion of Nichol Kessinger's interview on February. I keep saying that. Oh, it's because, never mind. On what month would it be? August 16th of 2018. So that's 3 days after the family was murdered. It's her second interview, the one after the FBI interview. And again, let's listen to the premise of why she says she destroyed evidence and obstructed justice, which is really what it is. Although authorities here unfortunately never call it that. We know that's what it is because it's very clearly written in the law of the land, but let's listen to what she has to say. Welcome, everybody. How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. I see so many great faces there. Hi, Desired. Hi, Think for Yourself. And, oh my gosh, Anaphylaxis, McJ, Keschik, thank you for being here. Moderators, I know there's more of you. I'll catch you in a minute. Oh, hey, happy Father's Day to fathers out there. Thank you for being a father and being a present father and doing your job. You're awesome. Happy Father's Day.
Says you understand you don't have to do this. You're doing it of your own free will. And I know you're tired, so if you want to let your dad read it too,
Thank you.
that's a good idea.
Can you fill it out before I sign it?
Yep. And just you read it, and if you have any questions, then we'll put on there what we're after.
I am so hungry.
You should have told me. I would have got you some food. I got food in my car.
It's not staying down. It's just coming.
She hadn't been feeling good. Not because of anything, just
like I got sick prior to
Jim.
this whole thing happening, and then I think all of this compounding with the fact that I'm sick, it's just not good. I've not really been eating or sleeping much at all.
Yeah, I'm with you. We definitely need to accelerate the case because the more it takes, the less sure that they are of situations. But on the other end, I think if you do just that only,
you tell me what you're willing to provide to me, and we'll
write it. Good enough?
I just want like our text conversation and then I guess our phone call records.
So I'm going to put
so the time and date of the phone call records and then our text message.
Could we get photos of him?
Huh?
Could we get photos of him?
Off of
Would
that?
you mind if we got his photos that he sent to you?
Oh, well, there'll be in that text message thing.
So all his photos were sent. There was no apps or anything else used that you guys were sending. It was all just text messages.
Yeah.
Okay. So it'd be an attachment to a text that he sent you.
Pretty much.
But
everything is in the text and the phone call records.
So
like all of it.
Because we don't have it on tape, we discussed prior to turning the tape on Tuesday, which would have been the 14th of August. You had read some newspaper articles on the 13th and the 14th that regarded this case. You had also had a conversation with Chris at some point during the day on Monday. And on Tuesday, because of what you found, specifically what you said was, and I don't let me put words in your mouth, but you found out that his wife was pregnant.
Yes.
And you did not know that prior. And you found that out via the newspaper articles, and that caused you concern.
Well, I just realized that he was lying to me, and I was like, well, if you can lie to me about this, what else are you lying to me about? And it made me realize that maybe his wife was in danger at that point, and it was day 2 too, and she still wasn't home.
What did that cause you to do with your phone, though?
Oh, what? When I deleted those? I was just kind of grossed out by him, to be honest with you. I was just like, I don't know what's going on right now, but you just lied to me, and I don't want to see this come over my phone anymore. So I removed it. So
you already said, but you removed text messages?
I deleted all of his stuff because he lied to me. I mean, that's what it was. It was the hurt that made me delete it. And then it was the lie that made me start questioning everything else he'd been telling me for the last few days.
And that's when you decided to come forward?
Yes.
Okay. So just for context,
yes.
When people delete stuff off phones, usually we go, hold on a second.
No. It wasn't malicious at all. It wasn't malicious at all. He lied to me. It just hurt. Like, I had never felt like he'd ever lied to me before. And it was a big lie. I mean, telling somebody that you're in the midst of a divorce and then you have a wife that has a 15-week-old baby on the way is a huge, huge thing. And I was very taken back, and it was hurt. And so at that point, I deleted it. I had a few more quick things to say to him, and then I just got rid of him. That's literally what I did. I just cut him out of my life. It would have honestly been like a bad breakup kind of thing. Like, if none of this other stuff would have happened, that's what it would have been. That would have been the end of it.
The information was not destroyed because there was anything in there that would be harmful to you or potentially to Chris at this point, but harmful to you in particular. That's not why you did it.
No.
You did it out of, excuse my language, this guy's an asshole, so I'm getting rid of him, and I'm getting this stuff off my phone.
That was like me kicking him out of my life.
Okay.
And then, like I said, and then realizing that he lied, that was when I was like, okay, maybe his family is in danger and they're not coming back and they're not staying with a friend.
Yeah, when did I go over there? Tuesday morning?
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday.
I called you Wednesday morning.
That's when we started discussing you guys need to get everything that could just...
You can understand the importance of...
Oh, no question. We were...
Like I said, people lie, phone records don't, and they really help specifically establish dates and times.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a very good grip on that in this case already, but there may be a time when we go, we need to know something else, and then we would have it. We don't want to lose it, and that's really what it is for us, is if we lose information that later on we go, man, I wish we would have got that. And we may never even use these. We may never even look at them. But if...
As we know, they really didn't, unfortunately.
If we have it now, then we don't worry about losing it. So I appreciate you being cooperative and giving it to us.
Yeah.
So the first thing I wrote was text messages between Chris Watts and attachments. Okay? So, because we're talking about the photographs, unfortunately, that cause you much disdain.
Totally inappropriate from the interviewer.
And then I am going to put phone log for calls between yourself and Chris Watts. Your phone number is 720.
Blah, 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 blah. We can't hear the phone number. Hold it. Wait, the phone number. I've had a couple of videos taken down because the phone number's played. Scoot forward. Okay.
Yourself and Chris Watts. Your phone number is...
Oh, no. It's blah, 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 blah.
And you wouldn't even know which ones were for him and which ones weren't. But any picture that I wanted to send to him, I sent via text. So if you guys go through the text and the attachments, you will have everything that wasn't said verbally and was done via text. But I think that's it. Like, I don't have I don't have anything else. As far as like no Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, no LinkedIn, like none of it. So there was never any of that kind of correspondence. So I think that should probably cover everything you guys will need.
Is there any particular messages that would help me so I don't have to look at? Because whatever's on your phone, I don't know how long we're going to get back to, but let's say is there a particular date or time or message that stands out to you that would be relative to specifically to the investigation into this case that might assist me in understanding why something like this could have occurred?
I'm still in shock that this whole thing happened. That's why I gave him the benefit of the doubt for the first day, because I was just like, no way. Like, I didn't even think about that. I mean, murder was not on the top of my mind when somebody doesn't come home for an evening, especially if they just like had some sort of like heated conversation. It's like, okay, you guys are separating, have a heated conversation, you leave for a night. Like, I didn't even think this guy killed his wife. I mean,
well, we know that is countered by her phone records, and just her phone records, even though, and I meant to point out here during this little diatribe that she's going off on about how those indicators that she's lying about just communicating through text message and phone, but go watch the Deception Detective videos on that. I was going to just kind of reiterate what he says, but I was looking up some other stuff for you. But yeah, on Monday night, the night of the murders, they had 2 really long phone calls. And then in his interview with her, one of the phone interviews, he also refers to all of those short correspondence they had with one another, which she says was on FaceTime. And these went on from around 8 p.m. until I think the last one was at like 2:37 a.m. or something. So if at that time she wasn't concerned about anything, what were all of those phone calls and the sheer volume of them about? In fact, she herself concedes that she was like freaking out, that she kept calling him back because like she was freaking out. Well, what was she freaking out about? Because we know she really didn't give a rat's ass about Shanann, Bella, or Celeste. She makes that very clear through everything she says in all of the interviews with her. Let me just go to a couple of comments here, and then we're going to move on to some more sound clips and do some analyzation. Oh, I pinned this from Think For Yourself said, where to go? I started, hold it. They didn't even try to recover them. And I think you're talking about the phone records, the records of, communications between Watts and Nichol Kessinger. Now, what I had learned, and I've said this a million times, but I'm just saying it one more time for those of you who don't know, through my attorney friend who got into this case for a little while, and he talked to somebody while he was actually out on business in Denver, who was very, very close to the investigation. Very, very close. He disclosed that person to me. I accidentally disclosed it to y'all about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, and it's in there somewhere. I didn't delete it. I can't even find the live stream it's in, but I'm not going to tell you now because he would kick my butt. That the authorities did, in fact, yes, recover all of the text messages between Nichol Kessinger and Chris Watts. So what does that mean in my opinion? Well, they did uncover all of the text messages and phone calls. They don't necessarily mean that much other than the volume of them perhaps. But we know that they also communicate on a third-party app. But if they recovered all those text messages and everything that was said in them, I believe that they well know that Nichol Kessinger is guilty of a very serious crime, yet they still chose to turn their heads and ignore it. On that note, let's hear what it was that Dr. Phil said back in the early part of 2019, I believe it was January 2019, when he created and recorded his series, The Devil Beside Me. I think that's it, right? And whoops, where'd I put it? Oh, here it is. Okay. And then we're going to go into some of the material and the differences between her interview with the FBI and the CBI. Now, how I came across this, and I kind of heard some new things in my own mind for sure that I think as we talk about them, are going to enlighten some of us, is because I'm trying to clean up that FBI interview with Nichol Kessinger the way that I did with some other things. It's really, really multi-leveled as far as the audio. Like you can separate so many different things. It's kind of tricky. My friend who helped me out with the Chris Watts interview is going to help me out too. It's a really time-consuming process. I just have to wait until he has some time to do it. And then, he's going to do that and I'll kick him something for that. And I think that'll be really good, because when you have that nice clear audio and you can really focus on what's being said, it's amazing how you really can hear like so much more, right? Oops. So let me just bring this in here. And welcome to everybody who's just coming in. I'm so glad you guys are here. Everyone get comfortable, and thank you so very much for being here. Okay, this is the video I was waiting for, so sorry about that, but I just want to get everything together because it required a lot of like pulling things apart and editing.
Story of Chris and Shanann Watts, it wasn't over. In fact, it was just starting to unfold. And I have a suspicion that made some people really nervous. Was she a hero in this story? Is it possible, like Shannon's parents believe to this day, that she tried to help Chris, but when it all started hitting the wall, she got scared and bailed? She was never arrested or charged. Is there more than meets the eye with Nichol? Sure, she had been helping police. It seemed like she was on no longer in love, but investigators, not the prosecutors, but the investigators, they weren't quite done. After all this, they went back in to interview him again, one more time from prison. So what was their reason for this additional question? They got everything they can get, right? So why talk to him again? Well, we don't know for sure, but we do know that it would not make sense for them to be talking to him about further culpability on his part. He pleaded guilty. They had recovered the bodies. Shannon's parents had a theory. They strongly believe the reason the FBI went into that prison was because of none other than Mistress Nichol.
Do you hear that? They had a theory, and here he's talking about Shannon's parents. They strongly believe that the reason that those interviewers went into that prison is because of Chris Watts' mistress.
Shannon's mother claims she believes investigators went in on a mission to get Chris to roll on his mistress. He did not, at least not yet.
He was asked with the fact that she's pregnant. So he told me that she had asked him to wake her up before he left for work. And so I don't know if she did that on a text or how it was supposedly communicated, which I also found weird because, like, she's still sleeping when he leaves because she gets up with the kids and they get up shortly after that. But, like, it's just him in the mornings, And so he said that she woke up and those two kind of just, like, got in a disagreement. And I don't know what all was said, but he was like, she was being pretty mean. And then he said, she told me that she's pregnant, and she told me that the kid is not mine. That is what he told me.
So she's pregnant, the kid's not mine.
And
okay, so listen to this. Listen carefully, okay? Because what we're going to be focusing on is when she knew and how she found out about Shannon's pregnancy. Because remember, that is the entire basis of her reasoning for obstructing justice and deleting evidence in a triple, quadruple homicide case. And it's all a lie. Let me just go back a little bit here. Just listen carefully.
Just like got in a disagreement, and I don't know what all was said, but So
she's talking about what happened the morning of the murders, those early morning hours when Shanann came home, and the version that she says Chris Watts told her is that, this is after they slept for a little bit and then woke up.
It was like she was being pretty mean, and then he said, she told me that she's pregnant, and she told me that the kid is not mine. That is what he told me.
So she's pregnant, the kid's not mine.
And that's
like he's playing it. He didn't know she was pregnant until that morning.
Yep.
And that she had an affair with somebody else.
Yes. And this is before I knew she was 15 weeks pregnant.
Okay.
Like all the stuff on Monday that I read from my recollection, because I didn't find out she was pregnant until Tuesday. So anything that got posted on Monday did not emphasize the fact that she had a baby on board.
So she's mean to him and then throws this out.
Yes.
That she's pregnant from another.
And I said, do you believe her? And he was just like, he said something about oh yeah, she kind of looked like she was showing when we were in North Carolina, but I wasn't sure. And I'm like, so you think she's pregnant? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, do you think she's like having an affair? And he's like, I think she said that out of spite. And he's like, and I was like, okay. And then, and again, like, I think he's just saying all this to me to try to cover his tracks with me. Like, I don't know what he told you guys, but I bet it's probably very different. And I think that what he said to me, it was like directed towards me. Like this whole bullshit little box lie that he had right there was like the lie directed.
Did he say when the argument started?
Nope. He just said it was in the morning. He said he woke her up in the morning.
Okay. Did he say when she came home? Did he ever let you know that?
I think I want to say he said around like 2, but I don't know.
Okay. And then he woke her for what purpose?
Because she asked him to.
Okay.
So I was under the impression that he was asleep. I'm assuming this is how it like went, and what he was trying to tell me is that he was asleep by the time she got home, and she sent him a text and said, "Wake me up before you leave." And then he woke her up, and they got in an argument, and then he went to work.
Okay.
That's how I processed.
And the context of that argument again was just she's pregnant. And is there anything else that he shared with you?
He did not elaborate on it, and I didn't ask.
What were you thinking at that time?
This was like on Monday. Again, at that point, I was like, I still thought she left. I mean, this was all on Monday. Like, I legitimately thought this woman left the premises with her kids and just wanted nothing to do with him for like 24 hours.
So his story was believable that she was pregnant from another man and maybe she took off for that guy, or
he said several times, like, I think she just said that out of spite.
Okay.
Like, he thought.
But now remember, she is saying here that on that morning when they got into an argument, Chris Watts told her that Shanann said she was pregnant from another man. Now, this is the CBI interview on the 16th, the day after the FBI interview, and this is going to become important.
She was with one of her friends.
So he held true to that story.
Pretty much.
She's just leaving and she's with a friend.
That was kind of what he thought. And that's kind of what he had me believing. And at the time, I wasn't really alarmed because it'd been like a half a day.
Did he tell you about anything that was going on with her? Was she seeing anybody?
He just told me, we're separating. He just said that they really didn't connect very well anymore. She came home really late, I think, that night. And I guess he went to wake her up, and she informed him that the child that she was carrying did not belong to him. I was pretty taken back by that. I just felt kind of disappointed with him, and not with the situation. I mean, if she's pregnant, that's a beautiful thing. So I had to find that out through the media. And I asked him about it yesterday. He kept telling me, he's like, it's not mine. But I mean, I'm sure finding out that the child that your wife is carrying is yours will be painful. I asked him to tell me the truth, and he kept denying it a few times. I know this child is yours. And I'm like, well, because he kept saying, he was just like, I don't want to ruin anything we have, this. And I'm like, Chris, you need to not worry about me right now. What you need to worry about is your family. I'm like, all 4 of them. I'm just like, I know that's your child. I'm like, and that's okay. I'm like, you need to put all of your energy right now into focusing on owning them and not anywhere else, and then he finally came clean, and he was like, yeah, it's mine. And I knew. Of course you knew. Come on, how would you not know that your wife is 4 months pregnant? I mean, seriously. So he told me, and I just, I don't know.
Okay, so why is this important here? So what she is saying right here to the FBI, which was the interview on the first day, okay, that she interviewed with anybody. It was 2 days after the murder, but this is her first interview. This is before, I believe, she deleted all of her text messages. And so she's saying that initially he was saying that the baby was not his. Shanann was pregnant, but the baby was not his. It was not his. And then eventually on that day, he told her that, yes, the baby was his. But then on the next day's interview on the 16th, when she talks to CBI, like we just heard, she says that she didn't find out that Shanann was pregnant until the following morning when she read the newspaper. So it really can only be one or the other. And the fact that she deleted all of those text messages and correspondence on his own is extremely suspect. And deleting text or destroying evidence and obstructing justice, which are the charges that many people, practically everyone, are brought up on when they delete digital evidence, is a felony. it is a felony. It is, generally speaking, not ignored, and certainly not by the FBI.
I've never I have never felt like he's lied to me. I've always felt like he's been pretty upfront with me this entire time. And then after that happened yesterday, his wife not coming home, I was like, you know what? I wonder if there's more to the story than I know, and it's really hard for me to process this because I think he's a really good guy. And, I'm worried about his wife's kids, really worried about his wife's kids. I don't know where they are. You don't know where they are. Nobody knows where they're at. And it's just freaking me out because those little girls are they're so little, and she's pregnant, and it's like, where's their mom? Where are these babies? And it makes me sad, and I just felt like I needed to talk to you guys and tell you guys, I'm concerned. I'll help you any way that you guys need help. As far as I know, they didn't even really argue that much in the first place. They just had different opinions on how to do stuff.
You think he had any reason to believe that the child wasn't there? I mean, is there a possibility that she was seeing somebody?
I mean, maybe she's at home all day, right? It would probably.
Little dig from Nichol Kessinger. Maybe she's at home all day. Read, she's a loser. So I just want to read Pink's comment here. So hi, Pink. How are you doing? Yes. And if you can email me about that question I asked, I'm going to email the RD too. I'm working on a video right now. I'm trying to get out this week, but I'm a little wavering on a point there. And I really would like your guys' opinion to, either support what I'm thinking or, if you think otherwise, I might reconsider it and hold off. But I really would like your opinion. So Pink says, and now it looks to me like Pink, I've been reading your comments, like Pink doesn't think that the mistress was involved. So she says, if she were involved, why wouldn't she have been charged by now? She would have been charged by now. That's what we all think too. We certainly agree on that, my girl. I mean, why would the police protect her? That's where I can't figure out why the police would cover up NK. Okay. And these are questions that we don't know the complete answer to. But the one thing that we do know the answer to, and this is where your girl Lee RD was really brilliant and came in with a whole theory on that as well, is we love you, Lee RD, is this. I got to just change up what I'm presenting here. So hold up. Wait a minute. All right, right there. So on page 283 of the discovery right here, this is the form that records the FBI's interview with Nichol Kessinger. Now, first of all, if we look up to this top right-hand corner of this form, if you're a good researcher or anybody, maybe you could look this up for me because I couldn't find anything conclusive. But this form right here, form Federal Department 1087, revised on 5/8/10, the only other time I could find that form being used is when it had to do with classified information or the release of classified information. I cannot find another instance that this particular form had been used other than that. And this is the only time in this entire discovery that this form is used, which to me seems like something that needs to be looked into, right? When you find something that's different, you find some anomaly in a case, you need to look into it and ask, why is that? So as we read down this document, and I'm sorry, I know I've showed this document a lot of times, and some of you have already seen it, probably to nauseum. If you look under where it says details here, it stated, recorded interview of Nichol Kessinger, parentheses, in capital letters, must be important, protect identity, on August 15th, 2018. That is 2 days after the murders. That is when Nichol Kessinger first, was pushed into, fessing up to the authorities about her relationship with Chris Watts and trying to, distract them from what was really going on in any way she could, in my opinion. But yeah, the question is, why would they want to protect her from the very beginning, from the inception of this investigation on August 15th, 2015? It also says down here that surveillance started on 8/15/2018 and surveillance ended on 8/15/2018. So I think what this means, and maybe anaphylaxis or somebody else who's, been in law enforcement or is in law enforcement, if you can help me out here, what I read that as saying is that the FBI, like they were surveilling Chris Watts' house, was also surveilling her residence until she actually was pushed to come forward and she spoke with them. So that's what we know about that. And that's like kind of my answer to that question or statement that you put, question statement you put out there. And then Think For Yourself says, and everybody should go check out Think For Yourself's channel. She did a lot of work on this case in the very early days. She did a lot of analysis on the the American Horror Story commercial that came up, we can see in the body cam footage that's at neighbor Nate's house, when that commercial comes up and you can see a fetus on the TV screen, and he's like, oh yeah, and she was pregnant. And it's really good. It's really interesting. So I would suggest go check that out. But Think for Yourself says that doesn't make any sense though. They didn't protect her identity at all, or anyone else involved in the case. Nothing was redacted. Well, I think, well, they tried to, first of all, they didn't release that, the interview, the first interview, the CBI on the 16th until Plunder, our channel hero, pushed them to and threatened to sue. I think, yeah, she threatened a lawsuit, and they finally did. They released it to Frankie Rusek, who then released it, and then Plunder put it out and everyone else had it. But I think there's a number of ways that they do protect your identity. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think we're going to get to it if we keep listening to this audio. So I'm going to come back to that. Let me start that. Oops. Sorry, I got a little confused here. Oh, wait. Still confused. Okay, hold it. I got to bring this other thing into the stream. I have so many windows open. Sometimes it does get confusing. Okay. We shall continue.
It would be pretty easy for her to have an affair. I don't know.
Nothing that he ever mentioned.
Prior to that?
Yeah. No. He never said nothing she had an affair or she spent too much time with so-and-so.
No, not at all. I don't even think he would notice. I mean, like, realistically, it's like no one else knew about us. And she's home all day, so that frees up, like, that much time. So, no. But, I mean, he could have been unaware. But, I mean, he even said, I think she said it out of spite. I don't even think he took that whole situation seriously.
So, and then he did admit to you that it was his child. He believed it was his child.
Later, because I kept asking him, he's like, it's not mine.
But then being in that house, I was just like, why? Fix this. Find a way to fix this. Make it work, And I was like trying to push him to do it, and he seemed pretty reluctant to do it. He didn't want to. And I don't know. We were still seeing each other fairly frequently, but I kind of like backed away so we weren't hanging out quite as much, and we were still close, but it was just like I really wanted him to try. Like I wanted to know that he tried and it didn't work, and then he moved on. Not when we were on the phone at one point, he mentioned to me, I can't even believe I have to say this, she left her wedding ring here. And I said something along the lines of, does that mean you two are done? And he was like, oh my God. He said, how much do you think it's worth? And I was like, remember hearing him say that and being like, what the fuck? And I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't even know how to respond to this. And so I was like, I don't know, pawn it, man. And I was like, I pawn jewelry all the time. I was like, I pawned jewelry a few times. I was like, it's not worth shit though. And I was like, so I don't know if you really want to do that. And he's like, no. Now, I think that's interesting. She goes, I pawn jewelry all the time. She's about to say all the time. Then she cuts herself off, probably because daddy's there. And he'd be like, what? And she's like, I pawn jewelry a few times and it's not worth shit. So I don't know. So, that's just interesting to me because Nichol Kessinger goes on and on and on and on about how she is, so fiscally responsible and all of her stuff is in line. Her finances are in line. She has a great credit score. And I'm sorry, but people with a great credit score don't pawn jewelry. Oh, I think I'm going to get it appraised. It's a nice rock. And I was just like, okay. And it was like really awkward.
And that was on Monday?
That was on Monday night. And that to me was like, it was kind of strange. And then the Tuesday lying thing, like I'm telling you, it started like Monday night, him saying that was why I couldn't sleep because he made the comment about the wedding ring.
Okay.
And then Tuesday, her still not coming home, and then him lying to me. And I was just like, oh my God, my name is about to be like slandered for probably a while. I don't know how long that's going to take to heal, but I would not be surprised if it's going to be hard to go out in public sometimes for a couple of years. And that really hurts me. And I'm just like, this is a horrible, horrible thing. Like, how dare you, and people aren't going to understand that. They're going to say, oh, you're the woman that had an affair with this man who took out his whole family. And I take a step back and it's just like, I didn't know. Like, he's so disgusting. I'm so ashamed of him and everything. And I just, all those little girls, they're so little. They're so little.
We talked a little bit earlier about getting some help for these things, and we can provide that. At really no cost.
One more thing. We just want to make sure there's resolution.
Absolutely.
That's why we come to you guys to pound it down
Hey,
until there's
I'm
nothing left.
sorry that you're talking again today. I really am. I don't want to put you through any more trauma than you've already been through. There is reasons for everything that we're doing today and what occurred. And I'm sorry. I genuinely am sorry. These are not things that we like to do twice. It's the same thing with other types of victims from other crimes. We want to do it once and we want to be done. Unfortunately, we didn't know yesterday what we know today. And that's why we're here, because we need this video. And I am sorry, because I know it's hard to talk about it.
But it's so sad, and she's pregnant.
And you know what? On our end, we didn't.
And they're so cute. They're so little. Like, wow. Why? How? I don't even understand how you could like bring yourself to do that to somebody who's like that big.
Oh, Jesus. Take a minute. Do you want to step out for a minute?
No, I just need to chill with my eyes closed for a sec.
Here's the quickest recovery ever to an emotional breakdown.
I still cannot believe this is happening.
Ever.
All right, let's keep going because we're just getting to the meat of this whole situation.
Let's get to the phone call on Sunday from 9 to 11.
I need to think. I can't even think. I mean, I don't even know. I still don't remember what we talked about. Honestly, we talked about so much random stuff. It's so hard to pinpoint some of these things. I don't remember what we talked about. I do remember that was a long phone conversation that we probably talked about all sorts of stuff. So the phone conversation, I don't remember what was in the phone conversation. Probably nothing of relevance, to be honest with you, but...
Specifically say where you needed to go on Monday morning?
No, well, he told me, he said, I got to go to a site. I got to go check out a valve or something where they think that they had a release. Something like that.
There was a conversation that I asked you about between you and Charlotte.
I guys were hanging out with a guy who had kids.
Okay. Conversation about him having kids. How did that go?
I mean, I don't know. I just told her.
Did you delete that, or is it still? I talked about this before, but we didn't talk about the specific context of what that message said regarding to children. So obviously, in the situation that we're looking at now, with the death of 2 children and all the other circumstantial stuff going around in the case, I just want to make sure there was no comments ever made by you regarding, children or dislike of children or love of children, either way. Initially, you drew concern from me when you told me you deleted everything from Chris. I've already told you that. You understand why. There's no question as to why that might cause concern. So if there's anything else that ever comes up, I have it, and then we can just discuss it. Do you understand what I mean? All right. What do you mean by can tell he has a lot to take care of in life? What did you mean when you said that?
He has a mortgage and he has kids.
Okay.
Responsibilities. I mean, he's a father of a house.
You're even saying in here he's all about his kids.
Yeah.
You're referencing that he has 2 kids, and then you don't like that because you want to have that experience with somebody else? Is that what?
I just said I wasn't sure if he was the one that I wanted to be with because he had already done everything.
Okay.
Like, I was like, it would be really nice to kind of like have kids and have my own marriage and all of that stuff. So that was never anything I conveyed to him.
So you said he's handsome, huh? Did you send her a picture?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not attached here. Is that because do you think from what you deleted?
I think it's from when I deleted all my photos of his stuff. But you guys can just pull everything off that phone.
As long as you're okay with that, that's.
I mean, if that makes your life easier.
Well, it's not just about making it easier, it's just less. So if there's any question, because somebody else was the one who told me about Charlotte and this message. So I've never read this.
That's probably why.
Now that her going, I got it was from the August 23rd interview when she was, it was when she was at that rectangular table and Tammy Lee and that, what was it, victims advocate came in and all of that. And when Kevin Kobach left the room for a little while, all of a sudden it's like silence. And you can hear her say to herself as she's looking through her phone, I got it. And whatever that means, we don't know. But, people have identified it as being a little bit curious. Let's see here. So he was just, let's go to, I got to find it first. Hold it. I can't talk at the same time and look. Did she come forward on her own, Charlotte? Let's see. Sorry, I just got to read through this. Yeah. Okay. So he was just referring a lot to the text messages with Charlotte. So let's take a look a little closer into that. Give me a second here, switch it up, what I have presented in the little window for you guys. And welcome to everybody who's coming in. So glad you are here and welcome. I think this is it. All right.
I don't know if this is in order.
Yeah, I get to all this music that I used to use that I have in previous videos and things. It's now like content protected. So even though I bought it through whatever, there's all these like third party sites you can buy it through. Well, now I can't use it anymore. So I have to always be careful to get around that stuff. Rules change.
Like, do you have 401k? And he was like, yeah. And I mean, the reason I ask him this is because if I get in a relationship with somebody, I want to know like what kind of baggage that they have. I think that's important. If I walk into a situation where I'm like, hey, I have good credit and I have all these things and I have all of these things and I have all these things and I have all these things that I can't tell you like the exact words of the exact conversation at the exact time and place, because it's like we had a lot of conversations. I mean, we talked every single day. So it's like I'm trying to help you guys with the stuff, like the stuff that's more current. I can give you guys a lot more like detail and exact times. When you're asking me about something that happened 6 weeks ago and exactly what was said, it's like, I mean, I'm sure I can give you a general idea, but to be honest with you, like to pinpoint exact words, it's not going to happen.
There are several characteristics that are classic characteristics seen in narcissistic personality disorders. One is a lack of empathy, especially in interpersonal and romantic relationships. Narcissists have a hard time feeling empathy towards others because they tend to prioritize their needs over other people's needs all the time, seeing themselves as the center of the world, and everyone else is just kind of an extra or a player in the game that's all about them. When Nichol Kessinger is talking to Kevin Kobach about her best friend, Charlotte Nelson, in the last interview she had with law enforcement on August 23rd, 2018, Nichol Kessinger exemplifies textbook example of this and some other narcissistic qualities. Just take a listen.
Yeah, I mean, except for when I first met him, and it was his APC thing.
Okay, and then what about your phone log? It's always his 910 number?
Number all the time.
Right.
Like it's always that one, or originally it was
was it? We talked about your GPS locating, like knowing where your phone is.
You guys can have all that. I just was like, oh my God, so many texts on here between me and all my friends. I'm like, do they really want all this stuff?
Well, is there anything in those texts that you'd be concerned with?
Not really.
So, well, not really, or yes or no?
No, I mean, like, the other day, my dad and I decided to do some damage control because a lot of people were like, hey, please call me, I don't know what to say. And I just told them all, like, I didn't say anything. I pretty much just said, if me tries to contact you, tell them no comment. I was like, please be nice to them. You do not need to talk to them. I was like, I'm safe, I'm not in trouble, I've been breaking laws. And I was just like, just send your love and support. And that was all I said to people.
So did that prompt all the phone calls of people going,
No,
are you okay?
they were prompting me.
Right.
That is why I did that, because I didn't even want to like say that, but I was getting all sorts of texts from people that were like, media's trying to contact me, I don't know what to do. I didn't tell them that I was a witness. I didn't tell them anything about that. It was just like.
Now, oh, and I just want to say, Sherry, thank you so much for the super chat. You are so super kind. I really appreciate you, sweetheart. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I know you posted that a while ago, and I just saw it in my starred column over here because the chat was moving a little fast for me. Is it okay for you guys? Do I need to slow it down? But thank you so, so much, Sherry. Now, I wanted to note here what Nichol Kessinger says. Oh, my gosh, and I just forgot it. Hold, let me go back a second. The point I was going to make. Okay.
Like, just say no comment. I need you to do this.
Okay.
And then a couple of my like super, super close friends, I asked them if they would be courteous enough to take all the pictures that we had of each other off Facebook and social media, and they said yes. And that was like a couple of really close friends.
Is there any text messages between you and friends that?
Hold it.
720 is the same phone. That's not even like.
Did you delete that, or is it?
That one, or originally was it?
We talked about your GPS locating, like.
Sorry.
In those texts that you'd be concerned with.
Not really.
So, well, not really, or yes or no?
No.
I like how he finally asked some clarifying questions here. Now, this is the last interview that Kevin Kobach had with Nichol Kessinger, and then the person who was in charge of talking to her was turned over to Dave Baumhover. My God, I wish he was the person who was handling this one the whole time, because I think the outcome would have been a lot better. But anyway, I finally like how, he says, well, not really, or, like clarify that statement, girl, because not really is not the same as no. And I wish he had done that throughout all the interviews, but unfortunately he did not.
I mean, like, the other day, my dad and I decided to do some damage control because a lot of people were like, hey, please call me, I don't know what to say. And I just told them all, like, I didn't say anything. I pretty much just said, if me tries to contact you, tell them no comment. I was like, please be nice to them. You do not need to talk to them. It was like, I'm safe, I'm not in trouble, I've been breaking laws. And I was just like, just send your love and support. And that was all I said to people.
So did that prompt all the phone calls of people going,
no,
are you okay?
They were prompting me.
Right.
That is why I did that, because I didn't even want to like say that, but I was getting all sorts of texts from people that were like, media's trying to contact me, I don't know what to do. I didn't tell them that I was a witness. I didn't tell them anything about that. It was
okay. I didn't tell them I was a witness. And there are several times during these interviews that she proudly refers to herself as being a witness. So in addition to that discovery document, on the very first day that they interviewed her, 2 days after the murders, and they had already labeled her as a witness to protect in all capital letters, it's already been decided that she is merely a witness. And this is, so let me do the math in my head, about 10 days, not even, less than 10 days after these murders occurred. And if you're doing an actual investigation and you're actually looking into the possibilities of all guilt in this crime, then you have not determined anybody, especially somebody as close to the case as her, to be just a mere witness.
It's just like, just say no comment. I need you to do this.
Okay.
And then a couple of my like super, super close friends, I asked them if they would be courteous enough to take all the pictures that we had of each other off Facebook and social media, and they said yes. And that was like a couple of really close friends.
Is there any text messages between you and friends that reference anything that would be concerning regarding this case?
No.
Like talking about Chris? I think you told me that you've never even really talked with
my friends about him. No, and like my friend's dad died last night, like yesterday.
I'm not worried about that.
But she started like, oh my God, she was really
drunk last night. She started like freaking out. She's like, I don't know what's going on in your life. She's like, I don't know if it pertains to this case. And she like just sent me like a screenshot of a news article of that case. And she was just like, she's like,
what about conversations?
I didn't mention that it had anything to do with that. She's like, I don't know if that's what it is. He works in it.
Pink asked, does anyone think that she's in the witness protection program? It's like she disappeared from the face of the earth. Well, Pink, your girl Lee R.D. is the person who first came up on panel here and talked about her theory on her being in federal protection. And we think that's spot on. I don't know if you want to come up, Lee R.D., and talk about that, but you're welcome to. I'm going to put the link to chat here. I'm sorry, the link to panel here in the chat if you want to. Ironic, you should ask, Pink.
She's like, I really don't give a shit. She's like, I just really need you to be here with me and my dad and this and this and this. And she was just kind of upset because I had asked her to please say no comments in the media, and it happened to be like right when her dad died.
So the fact that Nichol Kessinger doesn't seem to give a shit that somebody that she self-describes as her best friend in the world, she says, quote, she's my everything. She pays no mind to the fact that her dad died. In fact, she seems to be kind of annoyed by it because she's just self-interested here, which to me points to the fact that, well, maybe she is a narcissist. What do you guys think, Pink, Lee R.D.?
And I think she was feeling a little like, yeah, but I mean, you guys can read this. There's nothing in there of me actually saying anything about it. I just told
What's your phone number on that phone?
720. It's the same phone number that's on this one, 656-9605. So no, I mean, you guys can look.
So there was a conversation that I asked you about between you and Charlotte too.
It's the same girl.
That same girl was freaking out.
Yeah.
So was there ever a conversation about kids with you and Charlotte? Like I can't remember the exact context, but you guys were talking.
Hanging out with a guy who had kids.
Okay. And
she has not even like.
Wait. All right. So your conversation about him having kids, how did that go?
I mean, I don't know. I just told her.
Did you delete that, or is it still?
No. I have no reason to delete anything else on my phone. The only reason I deleted all this stuff with Chris is because he was making me feel really uncomfortable, and I didn't want to see it in my phone anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, let me scroll all the way back here, man. This girl talk a lot. No, she is like.
So let's just, we're here because we talked about this before, but we didn't talk about the specific context of what that message said regarding to children. So obviously, in the situation that we're looking at now with the death of 2 children and all the other circumstantial stuff going around in the case, I just want to make sure there was no comments ever made by you regarding, children or dislike of children or love of children, either way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. Let me find it. I think this is where this starts. You guys can just take whatever you want off of there.
So it's easier for me to just take everything than it is to single it out. Plus, for the purposes of this case, the less exposure, we already have initially you drew concern from me when you told me you deleted everything from Chris. I've already told you that. You understand why. There's no question as to why that might cause concern. So if there's anything else that ever comes up, I have it, and then we can just discuss it. Do you understand what I mean? All right.
It's right here. This is where it starts. She starts right there. She starts talking about her and her fiance. So that was like weeks ago.
Okay, now I just want to point out a couple of a couple of other things that, definitely are reason for question. And in my mind, it brings up the question of of showing more evidence that she is being protected in this investigation, because I fully believe that she is. And if others disagree, that's okay. We don't, I think the fact that it says protect witness is kind of conclusive, but, point is, you certainly don't have to agree with me on everything. Now let's see, let me make this a little bigger for y'all. Okay. So if we look at this here in the paragraph that's kind of in the middle now that's highlighted, it says, now this is a write-up from Kevin Kobach in the Discovery. This is his summary of this interview with Nichol Kessinger according to him. She admits to sending photos of Chris Watts to Charlotte Nelson during a text conversation on August 7th, 2018. Well, that is very interesting, because the date that she actually sent that message to Charlotte about Chris, the only time that she messaged Charlotte about her lover Chris Watts, was actually the day before the murders. The day before the murders on August 12th, 2018, that Sunday, the day before the Monday of the murders. How strange is that, right? So now when Stacey Galbraith does her summary of the work that she did in looking into Nichol Kessinger's communications with Charlotte, she puts the correct date on the communication between Nichol and Charlotte. Interesting, because maybe she wasn't among those who were protecting Nichol Kessinger. I don't know why the difference. I mean, it could be a typo, but I just think it's very curious. So now let me read to you what is said between, let me just make sure I'm at the right spot here in the Discovery. Hold it. Is this the right spot? Okay, I think so. Let me just look here. I just want to make sure I have everything, all the complete information for you. So I'm just scanning through this really quick. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I can start here and it'll be complete still. Okay, let me bring this back into the stream. And welcome everybody who's coming in. So glad you guys are here. Welcome, welcome. Share your opinion. Please just be respectful to the families. And yeah, that's it. So this is Stacey Galbraith narrating. I read the following text to Nelson on August 12th, 2018. Feels like every dude I meet has kids these days, and if they don't, they have commitment issues or some BS like Sean. Sean's her ex-boyfriend. I asked Nelson for some context to that text. It seemed that a man with kids may be a negative thing based on the words in the text alone. Nelson said that she does not think that Kessinger was against him having kids, and Kessinger wants kids too. She just had bad luck with men in her past. Kessinger wants to find someone, and when she does, it turns out the guy is lying or something. Kessinger seemed to take it upon herself and feel like she is picking the wrong guys. Maybe there is something wrong with her, Charlotte. Now, Nelson encourages Kessinger that she will find someone. Nelson does not think the BS is part in the text was meant as negative, and that Kessinger felt the guy having kids was a negative. Nelson did not think that Kessinger actually met the guy's kids. She has no idea when or where Kessinger and the guy hung out. Yeah, because Nichol Kessinger only told her about her boyfriend that she's had for 6 weeks, and this is her best friend, the day before the murders. Nelson figured if it was working out, she would hear more about the guy from Kessinger. Kessinger did not tell Nelson anything about the guy's wife in their text. I asked how Kessinger is doing. Nelson told me that she is a mess and says she cannot say much about the case. Nelson thinks Kessinger feels partially responsible, as maybe he went crazy because Kessinger came into the picture. Right, and pressured him to kill his family, yes. Kessinger liked the guy. Nelson thinks Kessinger needs a good therapist. I asked if there's any indication that Kessinger may want to maintain a relationship with the guy. Nelson said that Kessinger wants to cooperate in the fullest and make sure he stays in jail. I thanked Nelson for her time, and she agreed to send me the screenshots of her text with Kessinger. Get that? Nelson promptly got back with me on 9/6/2018. Hi, Agent Galbraith. This is Charlotte Nelson. I'm looking. Oh, and by the way, she says before the part that I read that she was trying to get in touch with Charlotte, trying to get in touch with Charlotte, trying to get in touch with Charlotte. It took it took Agent Galbraith quite a while to get in touch with Charlotte. She wasn't getting back at her, okay? Hi, Agent Galbraith. This is Charlotte Nelson. I'm looking through my phone, and the latest text messages I have from Nikki start on August 21st, guys. That is 8 days after the murder. And we mostly talk about my dad passing away and my family issues, and also that she is concerned with the media. I probably deleted the whole conversation when Nikki asked me to delete pictures we have together on Facebook because the media was calling her friends to get information. Why the fuck would you delete text messages? They might be needed in the investigation, Charlotte. I know about the text messages we talked about because yesterday evening I got your voicemail when Nikki came over later that night. I told her you had called and that I wanted to verify that it was actually the CBI calling and not some scammer trying to get information. So she told Nichol that the CBI had called. I asked her why you would be calling me, and she said it could be because of the text we exchanged and then showed me. I'm sorry I don't have any messages before that. Would you like me to still send you everything starting on August 21st? Also, I left you a voicemail regarding a question I have. My question is, if the text messages are they going to be made public? She's concerned for herself, of course. And now Stacey Galbraith says, on September 7th, 2018, Nelson responded. Oh, well, then I'm sorry. Let me go up a little bit. She says, I texted Nelson and called her. The phone went right to voicemail like it was off. Then on the 7th, Nelson responded. She showed me the old text messages on her phone the night before last, on September 5th, 2018, when she was here at my house. We had went to Verizon earlier that same day so she could get a new phone since the one that she had wasn't working well. It must be that the messages were backed up and transferred over to the new phone. Interesting. And then it says, Frederick Police Department Detective Baumhofer is in possession of the phone of Kessinger, and potentially the text will exist in it upon execution of a search warrant. Oh, there's something else in there that I want to point out, but I brushed past it. But the point is that in Kevin Kobach's write-up of the text exchanges between Charlotte Nelson and Nichol Kessinger, he states in the discovery that those exchanges were on the 7th of August, 2018. That would be about a week before the murders, but really what they were on the eve of the murders, along with a number of other things, as I told you about, as I'm working on the real timeline, which, gosh, you know what? I should have done that as a live stream tonight. I'm going to do that as the next timeline. On the day before the murders, Sunday, the 12th of 2018, there's so many things missing from that official discovery timeline, including that Nichol Kessinger texted Charlotte and told her about her lover for the very first time over a 6-week relationship, as they claim, the 111-minute phone conversation, a number of Facebook posts from Shanann Watts, and a whole shitload really of other things that I believe and a lot of other people believe are material to the case. Before going on, let me just grab a few things in chat here. You know what? You guys are like fast and furious in the chat, and these text messages are kind of talking about a number of different things. I'm sorry. You're not texting. Your chat comments are talking about a number of different things. So I will go back to that, but I want to bring something else into the stream here. Somebody had commented before about the whole situation regarding District Attorney Rourke and, you know, his part in what he said and what he may or may not be covering up. And also, you know, the idea of Nichol Kessinger, you know, coming forth to investigators to tell her part of the story. And I fully don't believe that she came forth on her own volition. And we can take a look at that right here. Let's see. Where'd it go? Yes, here it is. Okay. Oh, Lear D is backstage. Hold it. Let me get her. Hey, girl, how you doing?
Hey, honey, I just love your show tonight. I love all your shows.
I just love you all the time. But listen, I think I'm getting just a slight little bit of an echo. Do you have the stream playing in the background somewhere? Close down
No.
Okay, it's not. I
Okay.
think it's bearable.
No,
It's
hold
not-
on. Hold
Okay.
on.
We love Liardi.
Do you hear me better?
Let's see. Yeah, yep, it's gone.
Better now?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So Pink asked about the idea that Nichol Kessinger, is she in witness protection or not? What do you have to say about that?
Well, the idea is you actually showed proof that she is in the witness protection program. You have the paperwork on it.
Right.
You presented it, but people just thought, you know, she was just being protected. But the idea is you're not going to be in a witness protection program unless you're a witness in a major crime. And I really believe she didn't check into work. There's no proof she checked into work that morning. We do have the ping near the Watts residence. And I still hold that she knew where he was going to be that morning. And she went out there for a little tryst. And she kind of saw what was going on.
Yeah. So you think that she went out to the Watts residence, to their home.
No,
and,
I think she went to Survey 19.
Oh, okay. So you think she went to Survey 319 and she saw
Yeah,
what
to
Chris
have
was
a
doing there.
little, you know, a little hanky-panky.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, that does make sense because she says herself in one of the phone interviews that she asked Chris for proof that he was at Survey 319.
Exactly.
And he sent her that proof while they were still on the phone. Maybe she didn't want to drive all the way out there because it's like an hour drive without knowing that he was actually there.
Well, listen, she could have definitely been there, or she could have known what was going on, and she didn't come forward. Right? You have to understand when they contacted her. Who contacted who first? To me, is irrelevant.
Right.
She knew what he did. That's my opinion. She doesn't say what they talked about the night before for an hour and a half. She lied so many times. The interviews, it's obvious she blatantly lied in the interviews. You have to realize they thought this was going to go to trial.
Right.
Okay, so you're not going to be in a witness protection program unless you're a witness to a major crime.
Right.
Or terrorist activity or...
Sure.
I mean, here, listen, just to make myself clearer, I mean, I'll actually read the reason. Okay. What are the grounds for witness protection? It's easy. It's right here because she had credible evidence.
Bombshell evidence, maybe, like DA Rourke said.
Well, I believe, like I said, I think she went to the site and she saw what was going. Why on earth would she say?
No, wait, go on and read that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm interested in that.
Yeah, sure. Okay. What are the grounds for witness protection in any criminal proceeding within the state when the action is brought by local or state prosecutors where, this is highlighted, credible evidence exists of a substantial danger that the witness may suffer as retaliatory for having major evidence? And I believe this is the reason why this thing went bing, bang, boom, and Chris confessed right away. He knew NK was in another room.
Yeah.
So, and she did a lot of lying, and I believe she's in federal prison, period, end of story. She's doing a little bit of time for not coming forward, not saying what she saw, and even someone in your chat, which is true. Why would you tell someone less than 24 hours to hock a ring if you know?
Absolutely.
She knew she wasn't coming back.
And that's why I just love, having live streams and reading the chat and having the discussion with you guys, because I never even thought of it in terms of that. Like, why the heck, if she thought there was a possibility that Shanann was still alive, that's her freaking ring. It's not going to go to a pawn shop. So why the hell would you say that unless you knew that she is already deceased? What a great point. I'm sorry, I don't remember who said that, but good job, whoever said that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's obvious. And look at how nasty she says it. I don't know, hack it.
I know.
mean, she can get really down, yeah, dude, I mean, and then the way she's being interviewed, she's jutting her chest out. She's thrusting her hips forward.
Yes.
I mean, give me a break. And the way this detective was pussyfooting around her bodily actions. Excuse my pun.
It's disgusting.
It was just absolutely disgusting. So, I'm just going to stand by what I think the deal is.
So then if that's the case, then all of this push, because the reason really I keep talking about this issue with Nichol Kessinger is because I believe, I think what you say makes a lot of sense. It, whenever we talk about this, I feel split, because what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Although we don't have any thing super concrete that's what happened. There's no report on it or summarization of it. So the whole reason why I do talk about Nichol
says, not to interrupt,
Go ahead, no, do interrupt.
The father wanted this trial to happen really fast. He wanted his daughter taken care of. She's a witness. She's going to be protected. Let her say what she probably was going to sign a sworn affidavit, and maybe not, or maybe show up with a screen, like this where you get on the stand.
Yeah,
but you're like a shadow, and your voice has changed.
Yes.
That is what was going to happen, my opinion.
Yeah, probably. That's very possible because they were protecting her. I'm sharing it on the screen right now, that page in Discovery. Nichol Kessinger, capital letters, protect that witness. We don't, if they went to trial, how would they or could they have protected her the way you said, really?
But look how the detective is telling her, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. What the hell are you sorry to her for?
Right.
Because she's going to go get locked up for a couple of years for seeing what she saw and not saying anything.
Yeah. I think that is very, very possible. Oh my gosh.
I could be 100% wrong. But I don't know. What the hell are you on a witness protection program? You're protected because you are a main witness to the event.
Right.
At that point, they probably thought it was going to trial.
Yeah.
Milkshake
says, I love the voice recreation. You do such a great job impersonating her.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm going to jump down and enjoy the rest of your stream. Hi, Pink. I love you. Where are you? Why didn't you come up too?
Yeah. I'd love to hear what Pink says any day. Yeah. Well, thank you, Pink, for pushing her come up. Thank you for coming up, Liardi. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm going to drop down. I'll come up another to my throat is, I'm not sounding too good here, but I'm in the stream listening.
Do you have allergies?
No, I don't know what happened. How it just hits you.
Yeah. I gotcha.
And I don't want to keep coughing here, so let me jump down.
Well, thank you for coming up, honey. I love hearing from you.
My pleasure. Yes, do send me an email.
I will. I'm going to send you an email. Yes, it's about narcissism.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right. Yes, I'll go back and chat. Awesome. Thank you, hon.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah. Sub Rosa says, great guest. Yes, we love Liardi. She's totally wonderful. Oh, Starry Night, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Starry Night says, NK lost her mind when Shanann just called Chris and they were married. She's jealous. She's a jealous nut job, or not, nut job, in my opinion, allegedly. I absolutely agree with you. Her whole I'm so sorry. I was just saying I need a new connection cord between my mic and the computer. And then I just went off and I wasn't looking at the screen. I don't even know where I stopped, but yeah. Okay, got it. Thank you guys. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm gonna play the other video that I just brought into the stream, and then we'll discuss a little bit. And yeah. And again, thank you so much for coming up, Liardi. You are the bomb. We love ya. All right. Oh, can't play.
Although come forward, and Nichol Kessinger, Chris Watts' mistress, replied yes.
That you just lied to me, and I don't want to see this come over my phone anymore. So I removed it.
You already said, but you removed text messages.
I deleted all of his stuff because he lied to me. I mean, that's what it was. It was the hurt that made me delete it, and then it was the lie that made me start questioning everything else he'd been telling me for the last few days.
And that's when you decided to come forward.
Yes.
Okay.
You heard Kevin.
Wait a minute. Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hold it. I'm seeing that I'm muted again. Wait a minute. Okay, good. Okay, this sounds good now. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. I'll get that new cord tomorrow, I promise.
Kevin Kobach's question there, and that's what made you come forward. And Nichol Kessinger, Chris Watts' mistress, replied yes. And that's what this video is really about. Did Nichol Kessinger come forward to law enforcement by her own free will, on her own volition? Now, it's very interesting. Just as I was doing this video, I learned about the podcast that was created by Michael J. Rourke, the district attorney of Weld County, by his wife and a friend of hers named Kara. Although Mr. Rourke has not talked about this case very much at all in a while, and on that podcast, he talks about how he's sick of talking about this case, and he vowed to himself that he would no longer talk about it. Well, I can't play you the clip because I heard that a couple
I've gotten over that, but yeah, okay.
YouTube channels recently were struck by Mr. Rourke's wife for playing small bits of the podcast that I believe were probably fair for them to use under the Fair Use Act, but
And they were.
I don't want to risk it. So I'm just going to read to you what it was that he said. And I quote from Michael J. Rourke, "Stop asking about it. She didn't have anything to do with it. She wasn't there that morning. She voluntarily cooperated with law enforcement and she provided us all the information. I'm not going to tell you where she's at. Stop it. Leave me alone." Now, this was particularly interesting to me since two of the statements he makes in what he said there were things that we could turn into questions that could be asked in this video. Like, did Nichol Kessinger really voluntarily cooperate with law enforcement? And did she, in fact, provide law enforcement all the information? Well, we know that the answer to that last question is no, because she admitted so herself.
What did that cause you to do with your phone, though?
Oh, what? When I deleted those?
And then let's also hear what District Attorney Michael J. Rourke had to say about that very same topic back in 2018 after Chris Watts' sentencing.
The girlfriend you referenced in court, can you give us a better idea of her role in the investigation, how forthcoming she was and how she helped?
She originally came forward and spoke to investigators on her own volition. Prior to the time, unfortunately, that she came in and spoke with investigators, she had deleted all of the information off of her phone that had any connection between her and Chris Watts. That hampered the investigation. That hampered our ability to get that electronic digital connection between the two. She was interviewed on multiple occasions. I believe that for the most part, she was forthcoming in the course of those investigations.
So I just want to point out that I do not think it is splitting hairs to say that she voluntarily cooperated with law enforcement is different than she hampered the investigation, and she provided us all of the information is different than she deleted text messages off her phone. And the whole statement that he made recently on that podcast in April of 2023 is much different than, I believe for the most part, she was forthcoming. Those
Okay, and we have Sherry
Are
backstage.
two completely different answers.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to bring Sherry up, and my fingers are crossed. This works, my girl. All right. Oh no, Sherry. We're having the same problem. All right. So listen, Sherry, if this doesn't work, right after this live stream, right after it, like immediately when it's done, I'm going to send you a text message and we're going to get on a private StreamYard together and work this out. Okay. So see if you can adjust something. And, oh, thank you, Jody. Veronica Adams is in our chat. I just came across her YouTube channel the other day. She's talking about the Micah Miller case, which I'm like so deep into. We're going to have plenty more content on that. And I don't know, Veronica, have you talked about any other cases? But I just happened to come across it. So Jody just posted a link to her channel. Definitely go check her out, give her some love, and check out her videos. All right, I'm going to try to unmute you again, Sherry. We'll see if we can do this, okay? All right. Oh, it's still muted. I have to mute it. Oh, because it's really super loud. I'm so sorry, Sherry. I was supposed to get with Sherry between the last live stream and now, everybody. And I wasn't feeling very well last week, and I was having an excuse. It was my students last week with me, and most of them graduated on Thursday. I'm so happy for them. Well, the ones that were supposed to graduate, and I just never got with her. So I'm gonna try one more time, Sherry. Then we're gonna get together right after this live stream if it doesn't work. Okay? Let me try one more time. Hello. It still has it's so loud in my ear. I have earbuds on. It's really loud. It's still echoing. So Sherry, if there's anything open that is YouTube on your computer, on your television, on your phone, on your iPad, or anything, you got to shut it down. And I'm going to come back to you in like a minute or two. Okay? Yeah. Pink says make sure YouTube is muted. I'm going to come back to you in a minute. Let me play this a little more. Okay? I feel so bad about that.
In two completely different sentiments, and I believe legally they should have two very different consequences. But what I really want to know is, what do you think? We all want to know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Know what you think about the difference between what Michael Rourke had to say in 2018 and what he most recently had to say on his wife's podcast in 2023.
And that's when you decided to come forward.
Yes.
Okay.
When inquiring whether Nichol Kessinger came forward on her own volition, willingly, and put forth honest information to law enforcement, there's a lot of information that we can look to answer that inquiry.
I have all these things that I can't tell you. And everything we did.
But really, she does tell us an awful lot in her very own words.
Did he mention the children's name or his significant other's name?
I didn't know his significant other's name for a while.
In just about 4 minutes into the almost 3-hour interview on August 16th, 2018, she tells perhaps her first provable lie.
I didn't know his significant other's name for a while.
And this, we know, is virtually impossible.
I mean, I don't have social media. I don't really have anything else you guys can poll. But I think that's it. Like, I don't have anything else. As far as like no Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, no LinkedIn, like none of it. I didn't know his significant other's name for a while.
The very first item on the official discovery timeline is this. On September 1st, 2017, Kessinger searched the internet for the name Shanann Watts. Does this have some significance? I would say it absolutely must, considering it was chosen as being the first item on the official discovery timeline.
So it seems that Nichol Kessinger certainly knew Chris Watts' wife's name about 10 months before they said that they started dating. Well, I guess there are two theories on this. One theory is that Nichol Kessinger worked for a short time as a consultant for this company called Arbonne, which is a multi-level marketing company that is somewhat a competitor of Lavelle's Thrive, which is the company that Shanann Watts worked for, but also, not really. But I believe that this is highly unlikely that they just happen to have run into each other. And this is all a big coincidence since there are 2.3 million people in the Denver metropolitan area. The more likely theory, in my opinion, is that Nichol Kessinger was stalking Chris Watts and his family long before the two of them claimed to have started dating in June of 2018. In support of that second theory, the theory that Nichol Kessinger was stalking Chris Watts' family long before they claimed to have been dating, is that we also know from the discovery documents that Nichol Kessinger searched the name Chris Watts on August 3rd, 2017, which is about 1 month before the discovery entry of her searching Shanann Watts on September 1st of 2017. Also, obviously, almost a year before Chris and Nichol claimed to have met and to have started dating. I think it's worth reading the actual discovery entry by Detective David Prill here. It says several searches for Christopher Watts can be found prior to August 12, 2018. These entries appear to have been deleted. These entries were deleted but were recoverable. So this lets us know that at the time when Nichol Kessinger searched for the name Shanann Watts on September 1st, 2017, she absolutely knew about a Chris Watts because she also had searched his name 1 month before. What are the chances that she did not know that the two were married, particularly since when she searched for them, she would have found their Facebook pages, which were public, so she could find them regardless of whether she did or did not have a Facebook account. And when you checked out their Facebook pages, what you saw was nothing but a happy family and a happy couple. Notably, on August 28th, 2017, this post was featured on Shanann Watts' Facebook page. It says, "Late dinner date with my amazing supportive hubby. He rocks and couldn't imagine life without him. Hashtag boss couple, hashtag thriving couple, hashtag power couple, hashtag forever." It is absolutely certain that Nichol Kessinger would have seen this post when she searched for Shanann Watts on September 1st, 2017.
I didn't know his significant other's name for a while.
And yet there was still another time, as noted by Discovery, at least, that Nichol Kessinger searched for Shanann Watts months and months before Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger claimed to have started dating, and that is on January 7th, 2018. On that day, Shanann Watts had a vision board party at her house, and some people from Chris Watts' place of work, Anadarko, came to that party, including his coworker, Troy McCoy. He was interviewed in the investigation, and Troy McCoy's wife also accompanied him. This was also right around the time, just a few days before Shanann's birthday, which is January 11th. This would have been her 34th birthday, and tragically, it was her last birthday.
Santa?
In addition to the pictures of Shanann and Chris going out for her birthday and the vision board party with Troy McCoy attended, she also would have seen happy pictures of the Watts Christmas of 2016. Just things like this.
Don't get scared. It's just Santa. I know, Chris. Back up away from the wind, honey. Sing it.
Snowman.
There's snowman. Hi, Santa.
How are you? You guys want some candy canes?
Santa, she has a cookie.
Oh, thank you very much. These are my favorite. Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Say bye, Santa.
I didn't know his significant other's name for a while.
So I certainly think we can put the issue to rest here that absolutely positively Nichol Kessinger did in fact know Shanann Watts' name all and long before she and Chris claimed to have started dating.
And that's when you decided to come forward.
Yes.
Okay.
So now I think we can start to deal with the issue of whether or not Nichol Kessinger even came forward to law enforcement on her own volition, on her own free will, or if something forced her to, in a sense, out of fear and terror that what she had done or what she had known about was going to become known to law enforcement and to the world.
Check this out from the Discovery. It should be noted that approximately 3 hours before the polygraph was scheduled to begin at 8 a.m., I received a phone call from Anadarko Regional Security Manager Tony Husky. Husky advised me he had reviewed Chris's computer and it was possible Chris had started up a relationship with an Anadarko contracted employee. He had located emails between Chris and the contracted employee, Nichol or Nichol Kessinger. So we know that law enforcement knew about the affair at 5 a.m. on August 15th, 3 hours before the polygraph exam was about to start. And it was not until a couple hours later that Nichol Kessinger called law enforcement.
If Anadarko is like any other corporation in America, then if something like this were to happen and they were to be implicating their employee in doing anything wrong, whether it be from an affair or having something to do with such an egregious crime, they would need to let that employee know immediately. So was it the fact that Tony Husky caught on to the affair between Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger via the emails that he located that triggered Anadarko to contact Nichol Kessinger about it, that triggered Nichol Kessinger to finally go to law enforcement? I think that is more likely the case than Nichol going to law enforcement on her own volition because she has a strong conscience. And could this also be the reason that Nichol Kessinger decided to delete all of her messages and anything having to do with Chris Watts off of her phone? I think that is also very likely. So let's go back to the original clip of the almost 3 hour interview that we were looking at the very beginning of this video. So much of this interview is just absolutely packed with material because she's like 20 lies a minute. Let's take a listen and go a little further.
What did that cause you to do with your phone, though?
Oh, what? When I deleted those? I was just kind of grossed out by him, to be honest with you. I was just like, I don't know what's going on right now, but you just lied to me, and I don't want to see this come over my phone anymore. So I removed it.
So you already said, but you removed text messages?
I deleted all of his stuff because he lied to me. I mean, that's what it was. It was the hurt that made me delete it. And then it was the lie that made me start questioning everything else he'd been telling me for the last few days.
And that's when you decided to come forward?
Yes.
Okay. So just for context,
yes.
When people delete stuff off phones, usually we go, hold on a second.
No. It wasn't malicious at all. It wasn't malicious at all. He lied to me. It just hurt. Like, I had never felt like he'd ever lied to me before. And it was a big lie. I mean, telling somebody that you're in the midst of a divorce and then you have a wife that has a 15-week-old baby on the way is a huge, huge thing. And I was very taken back, and it was hurt. And so at that point, I deleted it. I had a few more quick things to say to him, and then I just got rid of him. That's literally what I did. I just cut him out of my life. It would have honestly been like a bad breakup kind of thing. Like, if none of this other stuff would have happened, that's what it would have been. That would have been the end of it.
The information was not destroyed because there was anything in there that would be harmful to you or potentially to Chris at this point, but harmful to you in particular. That's not why you did it.
No.
You did it out of, excuse my language, this guy's an asshole, so I'm getting rid of him, and I'm getting this stuff off my phone.
That was like me kicking him out of my life.
Okay.
And then, like I said, and then realizing that he lied, that was when I was like, okay, maybe his family is in danger and they're not coming back. They're not staying with a friend.
Yeah, when did I go over there? Tuesday morning?
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday.
I called you Wednesday morning.
That's when we started discussing you guys need to get.
Oh boy. So I just want you to watch Nichol Kessinger. We're going to listen again when her father says, when did I come over? Tuesday morning? And she says, Wednesday. You came over Wednesday morning. I just want you to take a look at her body language and look how fearful she appears and what is her body language telling you? I'm going to tell you what I think from a behavioral analysis standpoint.
Yeah, when did I go over there? Tuesday morning?
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday.
I called you Wednesday morning.
That's when we started discussing you guys need to get.
So her body language there is all kinds of nonverbal communication telling. Not only is she blocking with her hand, but she is blocking and ducking, putting her hand between herself and her father, looking away from her father, looking down, ducking her head down, and then putting her hand, which is between her and her father for protection, over her head because he just said something that is going to reveal her. It is very important in Nichol Kessinger's story that she is seen as a good Samaritan, as a good person who, on her own volition and by her own free will, came forward to law enforcement to tell them what she is concerned about because she is concerned about the lives of Shanann and Shanann's two girls and her unborn baby. Clearly, we know through these interviews that she is not. But when her dad says, "When did I come over Tuesday morning?" and she needs law enforcement to believe it was Wednesday morning, that they were not talking about what was going on and they were kind of holding off, figuring out how they were going to play their cards here. She feels as though her father could reveal all of her lies and manipulation. And to her, that is terrifying. And now let's go back to the other short clip that we played earlier in this video and extend it just a little further to take a look at one more thing that we know that Nichol Kessinger saw on the internet when she was searching for the Watts.
And he didn't have a wedding ring on his finger. And every time I talked to him, he didn't tell me that he was in a relationship. He didn't even mention his kids right away either. And then one day he told me that he had 2 kids. I was like, that's pretty cool. And started telling me about his kids.
That sounded like a sarcastic comment.
No, I thought it was kind of cute. I was like, oh, he's a dad. It was like right around Father's Day too. So whenever that is in June.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm not good with holidays.
he told me he had kids, and then it was Father's Day shortly after that. So that's what I do now. And I was like, I thought it was cute. And then he's telling me about him. He's pretty excited about him. And then he mentioned that he did have a significant other. And then he told me that those two were in the process of a separation.
Did he mention the children's name or his significant other's name?
I didn't know his significant other's name for a while.
So, in regard to Father's Day, first of all, I want you to go back and take a look at her unnatural change in tone, in voice inflection, and also in her facial expression when she's telling this whole story about, oh, it's around Father's Day. Oh, is that in June? I don't know. It's just very unnatural. And to me, well, and to a lot of people, that is a clear indicator of deception. Now, also, I think it's interesting that she knows one of the first things that she has to say about Chris Watts and his children is that when she learned about them, oh, it was around Father's Day. So I wonder why that stuck out to her. So, assuming that something did happen sometime in June where things started to heat up with them, we know from Nichol Kessinger's prolific Google search tendencies that she certainly was Googling her man, her interest at the and around Father's Day when she was Googling Chris Watts, this is what she would have found. So first of all, we have this post from June 10th, 2018. It says, "Ready or not, Celeste, here comes baby Watts, number 3." Baby Watts, number 3, indicating that yes, Shanann is pregnant and it's a baby Watts, meaning Chris Watts is a father. And then we have Bella pointing at the board here and it says, "Big Sister 101." The message really could not be more clear. Now, could it? Then we have post from June 11th, 2018. The reaction of both Chris finding out we were pregnant and the girls. Bella's sweetest in the end. And then she's wearing her "Oops, we did it again" shirt. The video that accompanied that when Chris walked into the kitchen and he had that really weird reaction when he found out she was pregnant was also posted along with this photo. The next post is from June 16th, 2018. "I love my sexy man. He keeps asking for things to do since he started burn. He's getting his tan on for San Diego," he says. And then, obviously Chris Watts is there mowing the lawn. And wow, that really sounds like a wife who is in love with her husband, don't you think? Then it says on June 16th, also 2018, "The last 2 pregnancies, I never wanted to leave the house unless I had to. This go around, I'm 4 years older and 2 wild toddlers. I haven't stopped saying yes to birthday parties, going to friends at 6 p.m. at night, taking the kids to park and splash pads. I am in love with this lifestyle of living and enjoying every moment with my family without saying no. Mommy is too tired. I'm addicted to creating memories and living life to its fullest. Thrive life is my best life. Now, she is promoting Thrive here, but does this sound like a wife who is planning a separation or divorce with her husband? As Nichol Kessinger claims Chris Watts had told her from the beginning. I don't think so. What do you think? The next post is from June 17th, 2018, which was Father's Day on that year. And it says, Chris, we are so incredibly blessed to have you. You do so much every day for us and take such great care of us. You are the reason I was brave enough to agree to number 3. From laundry to kids' showers, you're incredible, and we are so lucky to have you in our life. Happy Father's Day. Once again, acknowledging that Shanann Watts is pregnant, that Chris Watts is indeed the father, and that she is so grateful for her husband, that they are a cohesive, happy family, and they are very in love, expressing her gratitude like only a wife in love would do. And then this beautiful photo collage. There's no doubt that Nichol Kessinger saw this. And also on Father's Day, June 17th, 2018, it says, he loves one of the shirts the girls and I had made for him. Thank you, Alicia. Hot Off the Press, LLC. And this is Chris Watts looking very happy wearing a shirt that says, I'm a proud dad. And then, sporting their favorite football team, the Steelers. So after Nichol Kessinger saw these posts, because we know that she did, do you really think that she believed that Chris and Shanann were headed towards a divorce? Now, I mentioned the Anadarko work emails earlier on in this video, and I did not forget to revisit them. Now, remember, we just learned that it was on June 11th that Shanann Watts posted a picture post and a video to Facebook for all of the world to see that showed her telling both Bella and Celeste and also Chris about the pregnancy and their reactions. Remember, she said Bella's reaction was the sweetest in the end? That was June 11th, 2018. So the emails that Tony Husky conjured up from Anadarko's email system, as far as we know, from everything that's been released, the very first was this one. Chris, thank you for being so honest with me this morning. Truthfulness is so underrated in our culture. Saludos cordiales, Nikki. And lo and behold, this email is dated June 12th, 2018, one day after the post was on Facebook for all of the world to see, announcing to the world Shanann's pregnancy with Chris Watts' baby number 3 and the reaction of her whole family to it. And we know that Nichol Kessinger saw that post. Now, just to be complete in our discussion about the emails between Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger from Anadarko, they all happened on June 12th, 2018, a very curious date, the day right after the post about Shanann Watts' pregnancy with baby number 3 first appeared on Facebook. Chris's response to Kessinger says, Nikki, I'm a straightforward guy. Lying just complicates things. I think you're absolutely stunning. And from what I've learned about you, so far, you seem like an amazing person. I hope to continue to get to know you better since we have a lot in common. Messenger then responds by saying, Chris, agreed. It is always nice to find people that you can relate to. I enjoy talking to you as well. I feel understood. I'm looking for someone to build a beautiful life with. Seems so simple, but so unrealistic sometimes. Build something similar to what you have done with your wife and those cute little girls. I do believe in karma, so out of respect for myself, you, and your family, I think it's best if we keep that friendship at work. By the way, I keep the conversations we have. Doesn't sound like a woman who thinks that Chris Watts is going to be divorcing his wife now, does it? And then finally, Chris Watts responds to Kessinger by saying, Nikki, yes, a beautiful life is something that is hard to find in this world when people always seem to have an agenda for everything. I do believe in karma, so I agree with that as well. Any conversation we have will stay between us. No need to worry there. My work number is blah, 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 blah. If you need to reach me, get a hold of me on the field. Sometimes that can be tricky when my spotty service cuts out. I have an early morning meeting, then I'm doing some work for a transmission crew at various sites all day. So if I can't see you tomorrow, I hope you have an amazing day. In every video that I create about Nichol Kessinger, Chris Watts Mistress, I always feel like there is so much more to say because there is so much more to say because this story is so deep and there is so much to unpack and unfold. In my mind, if one thing is true, it is that to our knowledge, Nichol Kessinger was not investigated well enough. And from everything that we know, and I'm sure that there is so much more that we do not know, it to me is absolutely unbelievable that criminal charges were not brought up against Nichol Kessinger. I personally think that this case needs to be reopened.
If that is in fact the case, if Lee R.D.'s theory of her being in federal prison now under the witness protection program is not true, and it could be, we don't know. Now, I just want to read a couple of things to you. Some people were asking about, I don't know, I can't remember what, something I believe that Pink said that sparked me to look into this, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but let me bring this into the stream. It's a description of tampering with evidence under the Colorado law. So here we go. Welcome to everybody who's coming in. Nice to see you guys. So glad you are here. Destroying, altering, or removing evidence that may be used in an upcoming proceeding is considered tampering throughout the Denver area, which includes where they were. This is just Colorado law. This is a Denver lawyers page. Manipulating a smartphone or computer or deleting video recordings that may serve as evidence in a civil or criminal trial can lead to charges. Whether someone tries to cover up their criminal activity, hide something for a loved one, or implicate another who wasn't involved, tampering with physical evidence is serious. If you or someone you know is accused of tampering with evidence, consult an experienced attorney. Okay, so the law. Denver's tampering with physical evidence law prohibits altering or destroying certain items. The criminal code defines tampering with physical evidence throughout the state of Colorado. Someone commits this crime in Colorado if they destroy, remove, or conceal, mutilate, or alter physical evidence, and that includes and is largely in reference to these days electronic evidence, intending to impair its availability for an official proceeding, or make present or offer false or altered physical evidence, intending for it to be used in an official proceeding. Physical evidence itself includes things like documents, recording, messages, and emails, everybody. Tampering with electronic files or devices they're stored on can quickly become a legal problem. How bad is tampering with evidence in Colorado? It's important to note that each tampering case is different. Therefore, penalties won't always look the same. Tampering with physical evidence is a Class 6 felony. It's a Class 6 felony. It's a felony throughout Colorado, in Colorado's many counties, all of Colorado. A conviction can lead to 12 to 18 months prison, a fine of up to $100,000, and a year of parole. A felony on your record can lead to additional hurdles as well. We all know that. And you can go to those attorneys if you'd like to. Anyone, I hope you're not tampering with physical evidence in Colorado. Please don't. It's a felony, guys. So, if there's any question about whether she has committed a felony or not, I mean, it's as clear as day that she has. And, Angela Zapp, thank you so much for this super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so very much for being here and for supporting the channel. Thank you so much. I mean, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, hi, Nana. How are you doing, Nana J? She was definitely in the vicinity at the time of the murders. Absolutely, she sure was. Oh my gosh, you're on this. I was trying to see the other live stream I saw you in. That was my recent Rex Huerman live stream. Gag. Oh my God, that was so gross. All that material is just so gross. That trial is horrifying. But you followed this case too. Awesome. You're good. I like you. Thank you for being here. Veronica Williams said, or I'm sorry, Veronica V says she can't remember her 111-minute conversation because she said it was so long ago. Right, 3 days ago. Right. Good point. Okay, 80s Girl says, I just looked up the name Nicole Miller, and sure enough, it's her. All right, listen, let's settle this. So somebody else brought up this idea that Nichol Kessinger is Nicole Miller, and I said, I don't believe it. So what am I going to do? Give me a link or something, because if I just look up Nicole Miller, I don't believe this is true. I think that this was set up for us to believe that. I mean, well, we got Nicole Miller, the designer, but somebody had sent me some links to a page, and I'm not sure if I can find it, but are you able to provide a link? Can you copy and paste the link for me, sweetheart? 80s Girl? All right. Because I would like, we can totally take a look into this. I could be wrong, but Larger Lake says, is there a statute of limitations for that kind of charge, the tampering? I know she can be tried for murder at any time, but there's a limit to when she can be charged with the obstruction. Okay, that's a really good question. Let me see. I'm going to look it up really quick. I don't know if I'm going to find it that quick, but I'm going to try. Just give me a moment here, guys. Statute of limitations, tampering with evidence, Colorado. All right. Let's see. Well, I'm just going to have to dive into one of these here. Let's see which one looks best. All right, so I'm looking up if there's a statute of limitations on tampering with evidence. I'm not sure if I'm going to find it right now. Let's see. Accessory crime. I don't know. I imagine that there is. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it super quick right now because it's kind of it's not a quick pop-up search term, but that's a really good question. I'm going to look into that. Right, but she remembers the expiration dates of his condoms. Right, exactly. Totally. There you go. More proof of my theory, Watts the Obsession. That's right. I agree with you, girl. I do. I mean, it is a felony. It is. It is for sure. Whether she was charged on that felony or not, I guess would be the question. Depends on who you know, says Pretty Bird. And then, let's see, WPC, I'm not sure, WPCM on now, yeah, says, unless you're Nichol Kessinger, then nothing happens to you. Right on. Kind of hard to find her now. Impossible to find her now. Yeah, totally. Thank you. Seriously, thank you for being here. Fast People Search is a site. Okay. Oh, that's right. Only moderators can share links. I forgot. That's a StreamYard thing. That's not something that I do, but okay. So Fast People Search. All right. Let me take a look real quick then. Okay. Thank you for getting back to me on that. I appreciate it. All right. Fast People Search. Okay. Here we are. Now we've got Nicole Miller. And are we just putting Colorado in the search field? So I'm putting Nicole Miller. I'm going to just try Colorado right now, unless you tell me something else. I agree. I don't know what I'm agreeing to, but I'm agreeing. Okay. All right. Let me just skim through. Nicole Miller, Aurora, Colorado. And she lived in Englewood, 39. That's a little bit old. Would she be that age? No. How long has it been? Oh my gosh, it's been 6 years. So she'd be 36-ish. Scrolling through these, just looking for an age that matches up with his name. 35. Oh, this is different though. Different name. Maybe I'm not using this right. I don't know. Sorry, I'm looking at Nicole Miller. Wait, can I narrow it down so we can look at an age? Let me see. Close the freaking ads, man. All right. Huh. I'm not sure. I wasn't able to find. I'm going to look into that though. Thank you for letting me know because I want to continue to look into that because I hear people talk about that all the time. I found it another time. I think it was one of you guys that sent me the link. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was. Sub Rosa says, "Oops, not hard to find her. Oops, not hard to find her. I promised the mods I wouldn't name the platform that doxed her. Huh." I don't know, guys. I'll continue to look into it. Starry Night says she also couldn't remember what she did Sunday, then throws random stuff out and laughs it away. I can't with NK. I can't with law enforcement. I feel ya. Veronica V says, I wish she dreams about SW and beautiful girls. Aw, maybe Shanann haunts her. I hope she does. Armchair Detective is where you first heard about Nicole Miller. I think maybe I might remember that. Loco Jazz Hands asked, do you guys think she'd come out for an interview? She's after $1 million. It would get worldwide coverage, that's for sure. I don't know. Maybe she really needs it. Maybe she's still pawning jewelry. Sub Rosa believes NK doesn't miss any chats about NK. Then she must be on this channel a lot, which I know a lot of you believe. Hello, Skanky Empanada. I'll say it the way you want me to. Stevie, I know it's empanada. I know it's a joke. Empanada, 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 empanada. Empanada is the right way to say it. But empanada is the way that Veronica likes. Hey, Valerie. Yeah, Rex is in big trouble. That's for damn sure, girl. Yeah. Thank you very much, Larger Lake. Let's see. Wildcat says the question is why she is now a Miller, if she is. Joanne says that Google has her as NK Miller and Jim's last name, Gutowski. Okay. Elizabeth asks, why do people do crazy things for love? I would never want to share a bathroom. I feel ya. I'm single. I'm happy about that. Sweet Crazy says, Kelly, what about Danielle? What happened with her all weekend with NK? Right, because supposedly Danielle, her friend Danielle Hadel, was supposed to have been there that weekend before the murder. She was there Friday night. So the question is, was she there Saturday when they went to the Lost Dog Cafe for dinner? And after, we don't know. She just dropped off too. She's another one that should have been interviewed. 80s Girl says, I think her mother owns her house. Not surprised. No. Oh, right. Nicole Sophia Miller. That's what people say. Let me try to pull that up. Okay. Okay, here's the Reddit. So I bet that's going to bring us there. Perfect. So this is from 5 months ago. Someone on Reddit says, I researched her family history and found this. She may be using the alias Nicole Miller based on my search. This was Austin, Texas. Bonus, Chris's nickname Empanada for her is possibly due to the fact that Nicole is part Latina. No, that's our name. I don't think she is. Somebody says she's 100% using the alias Nicole Miller. Okay, somebody give me a link to something. See, I'm reading this Reddit article, but if I don't have some kind of a link confirming it, I need confirmation. I don't know. I'm not sure what I think, but here, let me go back to the search again. That Reddit one did not help me out too much. Oh, wait, here's another post on it. Oh, no, it's the same one, I think. Okay, here's this. Let's see, I found something else. I don't know. I'm still not buying it, guys, but I'm looking for you guys because you could be right. You could be right. I could be wrong. Okay, here's something I found. Now, just know that I am not, I'm just pulling up what I'm finding as I'm searching it. I've not read this. I am certainly not verifying a damn thing on this. So do let that be known. So yeah, I'm reading this for the first time with you guys. Nichol Kessinger, parentheses, Nicole Sophia Miller. Now listen, guys, if she went all that trouble to change her name and whatnot, she's not going to have some page where it says Nichol Kessinger, then in parentheses her new name. But what it says is this. Oh, Cole, I'm sorry. I've talked to my son a minute. Cole, could you put the pizza in the oven? Thank you. I'm Nikki. I'm Nikki. I'm as indigo as human beings can get. Weird smile, random, a high functioning, Aspie comparable to the invisible woman, or maybe that really is me. Loving what I want to be, very strong willed, love animals and gardening, creative, surprisingly forgiving, spiritual, special, I'm young at heart forever, but sometimes an old soul too, depends. Anyway, I have no real friends except for God. I have a handful of nice acquaintances in this side of the world. I love the small amount of actual family that I have left in the world. I take like day by day, sometimes even by hour or minute. The earth is my temporary home. I'm just visiting and making the best of it. Did I mention I need movies, photos, and yummy foods? The truest foodie and movie buff. Currently, I work part-time for Shine Clothing in Maryland. Yeah, this is like not real. List of hobbies: weightlifting, gardening, watching old films, baking, bench pressing, photos, movies, spiritual, food, animal care, Shine swimsuits and dresses, online model, customer service, garden journalism, game, role-playing, writing poetry. Profession: geology, bookkeeping, avid gardener, computer science, engineering, media, the clothing plays. I don't know. Let's see. Let me go back. You guys have me down a rabbit hole for sure. Okay, so there's a Nicole Sophie. I don't know. I have to stop this. It's craziness. I'll look it up though for you, like when I'm not online. All right. Oh, and it was Sarah who told me it was Sarah Hoffman told me Nicole Sophia Miller. I know, no relation to JP Miller, right? Lee RT believes that there was already a deal struck with Nichol Kessinger and the interview was a farce. But then my question would be, Lee RD, not only did she have that one interview, you know, the one on the 16th where the video just most recently came out, which was a while ago at this point. But then, my dear, she also had two interviews on August 17th and August 21st. Those two were over the phone. And then that final interview on the 23rd. So that was like a whole lot of interviews for it being, that was a big farce, would be like the only thing I would have to say on that. Good night, Cecile. Glad you were here. Elizabeth says, if you're involved with anything so evil, karma will find you. Hi, pretty bird. We're here. How are you? Veronica says, I'm sure karma's haunting her forever. Donna says, such an evil mistress. You think it's been 4.5 years since the tragedy happened? Well, no. I mean, it's 5.5 years. It happened in 2018 and it's 2024. 5.5 years. Larger Lake was looking up some info and now says to us that it might be only 18 months statute of limitation for obstruction of justice in Colorado. Yikes. That sounds like it could be right. I was thinking about 3 years just off the top of my head, just from, I guess, like knowing, I don't know, reading about laws and, I don't know, from my half law school education. Justice A through Z says law enforcement doesn't enforce. And by the way, go check out Justice A through Z's channel. Think for yourself says, oh, then there's definitely credible info. Are you talking about Nicole Sophia Miller? Sweet Crazy says, oh, I think in her mind, she'll always be the most awesome woman that he met, that unalived his whole family for. I think it just gives her a big ego. Probably. I believe that's possible. And then Sabrosa said, no statute. You mean statute of limitations? I don't know. I'm gonna verify that for you. Sarah says her cousins are Millers, I guess. Okay, that's interesting. Hi, John McSmith, sweetheart. How are you doing? Nice to see you, my friend. Glad you're here. I know, right, Sarah? And the people that moved in there were the Millers. I know there's a lot of Millers around, right? It is a very, very common name. Joanne says she was on X as Nicole Gutowski, saying she loved Jim so much. I think that's a joke, sweetheart. I really think that's a joke. She should change her last name to Empanada. That would be amazing. I'd be stoked about that. Huh. Yeah, good way to be, right, Valerie? Sabrosa says a video that I saw showed her truck in front of the address, like on Google Street. Well, there was a truck parked in front of her dad's home that was a gray truck that people were connecting to the neighbor Betty, saying that she had seen a gray truck outside parked in that neighborhood. Remember, she thought that that's why the cops were there initially, and blah 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 blah. No use of the word like a million times, right? That's definitely something that describes her. Pretty bird. Nope, said God, not her. Oh, you guys are so funny. Let me get to current time comments. I'm a few minutes behind. Let me try to catch up a little. Sorry if I missed your comment. Let's see. Thank you, MK. How are you doing? Nice to see you, my friend. Rosa1212 says, what about searching geology and environmental profession associations, societies? Guys, trust me. I have done all these searches. I will do them again. I go back to it occasionally, like not with a lot of hope that I'm actually going to find anything, but I do. 80s Girl says, great discussion. Thank you. What's the obsession? It's nice to be able to discuss the case in a fair way. You allow everyone to share their thoughts and opinions. Keep it up. Great work. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what I want you guys to be able to do, is share your thoughts and opinions, as long as they're not hateful or vile. And, we want you to be respectful to the families, because they are still of this earth, and who knows if they're listening, but even if they're not, I want to respect them. Just, out of principle, I think we need to respect them. How did she know the girl's heights? Says Veronica V. I think my personal opinion is when she says, oh, but they were that big or whatever. I mean, even if you don't have kids, you know approximately how big a 3 and 4 year old are, with it. I mean, it's not like she gave an exact height. She gave an approximation with her hand. That doesn't, to me, that wasn't significant. But I know some people feel otherwise. Oh, thank you, Justice A through Z. You're a great heart, girl. You're a sweetheart. I'm sorry, I'm speaking and I'm reading the next comment. Hold it. I gotta slow down my brain. Freaking slow down, motherfucker. Slow down. Okay, we're good. Veronica Adams thought that Veronica V's question was a good one. Well, there's one for your research, Veronica Adams. Since you're such a good researcher, she did some serious deep dives in her look into the case, the Micah Miller case. Angie Erickson says, I like your channel. I'm new here. Well, welcome, Angie. Thank you so much. I'm glad you do. And thank you. I appreciate that you're here. I'm glad you're here. Veronica says, don't give up on looking for her because she's watching. Yeah. Yes, Sub Rosa. Cindy Watts. Yes. We want you to be respectful to Cindy Watts. We do. Yes, please. Oh God, Sub Rosa. I can't read that next one. Sorry. That's a horrible thought. So, all right, guys. Well, I am going to wrap up. I do have work tomorrow morning. Oh gosh, it's almost 12. Yeah, but cool. Thank you guys so much for being here. Lots upcoming this week on the Micah Miller case. And someone in her family had messaged me wanting to start a call her Micah Francis. I'm going to try to remember to do that, Micah Francis. And that person asked me to spread it around to others too, to please start calling her Micah Francis, saying that's what she wanted. So the Micah Francis case and all of J.P. Miller's evil actions. The Rex Heuermann case, I have much more coming up on that. Thank you guys for watching the material on my channel about that. My friend Rachel, who's a great researcher, and I are doing something huge on that, as I've been telling you guys about for a long time. Oh, I have been making for a long time. I've talked about this a few times, but I am getting close to finishing the Chris Watts documentary. I mean, I've been working on this for almost a year. So it's going to be coming out soon, and y'all have to watch it when it comes out because I've been working so hard on this thing. I have 1 week of work left, and I have a couple months off for the summer. So as soon as my break starts, I'm going to be finishing that up, and I just can't wait for it. So thank you guys so much for the compliments. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you guys are great. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you guys like being here and you feel comfortable chatting here. That's exactly what I want for you guys because you deserve it. And also, remember, guys, life is hard, so be nice to each other. Even Cindy Watts wrote, and especially be nice to yourself because I know you deserve it. All right, so I'm going to just play a little outro so you guys can finish up your chatting while this is ending. And thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all you guys, mods, subscribers, members, people who aren't subscribed yet. Subscribe. We want you to come back, and you might want to also in the future. So just give it a try. Sub. You can always sub if you want to. And let's hear from probably NK. I don't know. Let's see.
Whatever happened to him is acted pure.
Sorry, I can't play that song anymore. I was telling you earlier, all these music tracks are now content something protected, even though I bought the rights to them through a third party a while ago, but I can't use them anymore, unfortunately. So let's see what this one is.
Welcome to Watts the Obsession, a channel that respects both victim families. We ask that you do the same in chat and in your comments.
I use the same song there. Gosh darn it.
I guess just call me back when you have a chance. Hi. Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back.
Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I'm having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me. And I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm really trying to help you guys. I need you guys to help me too. Like,
Yes,
we'll
ma'am.
do this as a team, but just don't.
So
fucking let me down,
the
please.
reason why we can't, like, I did think about this yesterday, that I would like to sit down with you once we have your text messages and the phone calls, and we can put them in a some type of easily looking, that we can sit down and look at them and compare them, and we can kind of get the context of how everything was going that night. I would like to do that with you. Unfortunately, so the download that we got yesterday is going to take multiple days to be analyzed. I probably won't have it back till next week. And then because you guys did have so many text messages, one of my analysts is working on getting those in order, so we can put something together where we can actually sit down and discuss it. But I do think that's something that I want to do in the near future, sometime probably next week.
I mean, I can do that. I don't mind giving you guys my time. I just need you guys to like help me with my employer and try to just help me brace for this media thing.
I'm with you. We definitely need to accelerate the case because the more it takes, the less sure that they are of situations.
He murdered her. She's out of the picture. You're never going to know if she was pregnant. If he can get away with murder, you're not going to. I got divorced from my wife. You say, do you understand what I'm saying here? If she's gone,
But this.
Don't lead.
Hypothetically.
Please.
Yeah.
Don't
Hypothetically.
lead on.
If she, you understand where I'm going. If
Right,
you
but
didn't know.
You're leading into questions that are nothing with your.
If you didn't know, though.
Wait, Nick.
That she was there.
Did you hear what I said?
I'm following you.
Stop asking about it. She didn't have anything to do with it. She wasn't there that morning. She voluntarily cooperated with law enforcement. She provided us all the information. I'm not going to tell you where she's at. Stop. Leave me alone.
Okay, Sherry, I got you on the email. Just give me like 5 minutes really quick. I just have to pee and get something to eat. I'm going to email you, and I'll email you a string to a link to a StreamYard. I'm going to create in a second. Give me just like 5 minutes, and I'll be right with you, sweetheart. I won't forget. All right, goodbye, everybody. Love you guys. See you soon.